This is Hot Mic.
Hot Mic.
On the networks of WDAY.
WDAY.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Hour 2, a little delayed here as we start on this Tuesday morning. Kenyon Wingenbach, new Concordia women's basketball assistant coach, going to join us in about a half hour. Looking forward to that. Super pumped to talk to our next guest. We featured yesterday on our Best of the Weekend, the NDSU women's track team captured a 16th Summit League championship in 17 tries, which, again, that's not breaking news. The Bison women win in track. They dominated in several events, including the high jump, where our next guest has participated in 4 times in Summit League events, and she's won it all 4 times. Sources tell us that's pretty good. Arienne Birch joins us this morning, NDSU sophomore who is coming off another Summit League championship. Thanks for doing this morning. Congratulations. Expectations for yourself have to be super high, knowing that you had won it previously. How did you deal with that? Is that something you welcome, or is that pressure? How do you handle that?
Oh, that's an exciting question. When I went to my first Summit League championship and I won, I had no idea that it was a big deal. Like, I was like, oh, hey, another competition. I did it. Good for me.
Did somebody have to tell you, like, hey, this is a big deal?
Yeah, a couple of people were like, oh my gosh, you did it. Yeah, I did it. Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a big deal.
So to do it again, like you just did a couple days ago, did it register now?
No, that was, I hope my coaches don't hear this. I was competing kind of for fun. I was just like, you know what? Let's try to jump as much as I can.
Well, that's the whole basis of sports is fun, right? That's what it boils down to. And competition is the nice part about it.
They were going on about how, we do this for each other and our team. And it's like, I am doing it for everyone, but I'm also doing it for fun.
That's good to hear, actually. That's refreshing on that. Describe, so you win, where we have a video, you're up on the podium. Were you excited or relieved? What were the emotions on Saturday that you'd won again?
I didn't really have that many emotions, not gonna lie. Like, yeah, I'm happy that I won, but I'm looking for a bigger stage, which sounds a little bit egotistical, but that's okay.
It's good to have goals, right?
Exactly.
When you're in a competition like this, knowing what your own personal, I guess, expectations are, and if you meet them as in you win or you want to jump as high as you can, how do you determine your own goals on that? Yeah, winning's nice, but you want to jump as high as you can.
Well, of course, you want to always jump as high as you can. Like, I'm probably almost always going to be disappointed unless I get a personal best, but who isn't? But I wouldn't say it's a good jump day unless I at least accomplish 2 cues that I've set for myself. And this time, my 2 cues was run a circle and keep my knees up. Did I do that? Kind of. I kind of did that. So I kind of reached my goal, but not as much as I wanted to.
You had a couple of attempts at a higher bar and couldn't get over that. So I'm assuming then that's what you're talking about, like, okay, I won, but I didn't go as high as I wanted. Yeah,
well, that would have been a personal best.
Yeah,
it would have been great to clear that. That would have been awesome.
So now you're going on. You have the West Regionals coming up here in a couple weeks. Is that almost unfinished business now? Like, okay, I've done this, but I still haven't jumped as high as I can, or I think I can.
At West, it's more of a you keep going until there's 12 people left. And last year, there was 12 people left at 1.80 meters. And for me, yes, it's unfinished business from last year, but not this year. This year, I know I can do it. I've already done it. It's just a matter of doing it the day of.
Describe, I got to know, on this particular event. Was this one that you've always wanted to do, always done, or how did you get into the high jump?
Okay, so fun fact, this is my 10th year anniversary doing high jump. Not seriously, but, high jump specifically.
Yeah.
I guess because I just really hated running and my parents both did track, I thought, this is the event for me. A whole 8 steps. Oh, that's too many, actually. But I guess I could be good at it.
So you got into it by spite? Is that probably the best way to describe it?
Yes. Yes.
When did
A
you
little
find out?
bit.
When did you find out you had like an affinity for it? Like, hey, I'm actually I might be good at this. Was it right away, or how long into it to say that I might be okay at doing this?
Oh, I was like terrible when I started, like below the average for my age. So I was 10 for my age. I was well below average. Um, I didn't think that I had anything until maybe grade 8, till I was like 14, 13, 14. And that was when I won my first national championships by accident.
How's that? Just tell us that story.
Well, there wasn't that many people there. I'm from Canada. They didn't really advertise it that much, so we didn't have a lot of people. There were 3 other girls, and all of their personal bests were super high, and I was there with a really low personal best, and I don't know what happened, but I PB'd and they didn't jump what they normally jump, so I won.
So what was your reaction on that? After
I
you,
well, to be honest, I didn't know it was a national championships until my parents told me after.
wow.
I'm a very oblivious person.
Well, that's probably helped in competition, though, right? That, to
Yeah,
ignore the pressure that's probably on it, you had no idea, right? Yeah,
exactly.
that's amazing. I'm always amazed at this event because it's not a natural motion. So how do you, for those laymen, us that I have no athletic ability whatsoever, how do you do it? How do you practice and get good at an event like this?
You gotta start off by knowing how to run a circle, which is honestly harder. It's harder than you think it is.
Yeah.
Running a circle the way it needs to be ran in order to have the physics bring you over a bar. I still personally, I'm not there yet. Like, I still have so much room to grow. And sometimes I question how much I actually know about the sport that I'm kind of good
Hey, you said oblivious. That's maybe the best way to go about it then, right?
at. Yes, yes.
So you mentioned you're from Canada, you're from Mississauga, which is just outside of Toronto. How in the world did you get to Fargo?
There there are a couple of vertical jumps coaches in Canada, but not at the intensity that I wanted. So I knew I was going to go to the States. I didn't know where I was going to go, but my ex-coach was like, "Hey, I know this guy he's in North Dakota." I was like, "Okay, I have no particular preference on where I go." And then I saw the facility. I was like, "Whoa, it's a 5-minute walk from where I live, not a hour drive." That was that facility and coaches. That's how.
That was when you got here. I mean, I know climate wise it's a bit similar. Wind is way more than I know than what
It's
you're
colder
used
here
to.
than
Yeah,
where
I
I
was gonna
live.
say, yeah, because
Yeah,
I'm actually from the other side of the lake in New York from where you grew up.
right. Okay, so
So
that is pretty similar.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes. The adjustment wise of coming here and going to school, what was that like for you? Granted, you're only a year and a half into it, almost 2 years into it now.
Well, I'm not someone who gets homesick, so it's been pretty awesome. Pretty easy transition. I enjoy waking up and just being able to go to school, and then just going to the track. It's
And to
pretty
have the
awesome.
kind of success, I know it's not necessarily what you maybe anticipated or wanted, but to have it, what has that been like to adjust to? That I'm doing this and it's gone pretty well.
Ah, well, I'm a funny person. It may look like it's been going well, but I've had a lot of hardships personally. Like, I'm pretty good. I'd say I'm pretty good. But I've also struggled with not being good enough despite all the
Mm.
success. So it's really difficult to say.
So now look ahead for people that don't, Ariane, that follow track and follow the schedule. What's ahead here? We got the West Regionals. You've already competed in the U20 world champ. You've already been on some big stages, and you haven't done this all that long. Just when I say that, what goes through your mind?
Well, I'm just looking for a bigger stage. College is not the end zone. I know there's a huge field ahead of me.
Mm. Has Olympics always been on the radar then? Has that
Yep.
always been the end goal?
Yep, always.
Wow.
Like, even if it wasn't track, I said, I'm going to the Olympics.
Where does that come from?
I have no idea. Well, when you watch the Olympics, you're like, oh my gosh, these are the best people in the world.
Yep.
I want to do that. And you realize you actually can do that. You just got to start the journey and do the journey.
Is there a height that you have, like, in your mind, like, I can do this? This is the goal. Which one is it set or no?
Well, okay. Based on my physical abilities right now, I'm pretty sure I could get 1.90 meters. It's just about fine tuning. If I want to go onto the world stage more often, for example, the Olympics, 197 is what I would need.
Holy cow. That's still some way to go then, huh?
Yeah, every centimeter counts.
How do you feel on the metric system? Have you adjusted to that? Are you okay with that or no?
Oh, I've always been on the metric system.
And the fact
From
that
Canada.
but the fact that we're not, is that how agitating is that?
Very. Oh my god.
Like,
I keep asking people what the temperature is, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, Fahrenheit and Celsius were way off. But like inches and feet, like you have no desire to learn that or what?
I have a good perception of it because I did compete at some high school meets, but off the top of my head, I'm not very good at it.
I think on the reversal, probably I would say 9 out of 10 Americans would probably have no idea on the metric system. They would be completely lost. And I would raise my hand on one of them. I would.
Yeah. Okay.
That would not.
I can't. I don't know. I don't know what 190 is in Imperial. I'm sorry.
It's up there. I'd say that. Well, roughly that's over 7.5 feet. Probably that's up there. So, off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'm not a great math mind, but that would just be off the top of my head on that. You mentioned you don't get homesick. What has it been like to be part of this kind of team? Knowing North Dakota State and track has had amazing success. Did you know that, or is that something you found out when you got here?
I had no idea. I personally didn't look at the team because I've been unattached for a really long time. So having a team dynamic, obviously it was going to be a huge change no matter what kind of team we had. So it was like a hit or miss. It's pretty great. I didn't know that we were pretty good.
You mentioned competing unattached to now be part of a team. What has that transition been like?
Well, okay, so I competed unattached for track. I also did rowing for a while,
Wow.
and that was a team event. So like, it was a completely different kind of team, though. We're all kind of individual, doing individual events, but we're like working together to win. Whereas in rowing, you all just do the same thing.
Yeah. Has rowing helped you for the high jump? Is there anything that you did there that it's helped you for what you do now?
I mean, all of the track coaches in Canada said that it was working against me, but I'm also one of the best in Canada. So I would say that it's helped me develop my explosive material and my discipline.
That's awesome. Two last things before I let you go. You mentioned back home. Do they know how much of a big deal you are here? That the kind of success you've had, is that translated to back home?
Oh, they are aware, and they're a little bit devastated that they let me go so easily.
That's amazing.
Those aren't my words.
Yeah.
What I've been told, it's what I've heard.
Wow. The decision to come here, obviously it's paid off. But now if I were to have told you this when you decided to come to Fargo 2 years ago, that this is going to happen, would you have believed me that this kind of success you've had this early?
I don't want to be that guy, but yes, yes, I would. My standards are super high. Like, I'm still not where I think I want to be this year and last year too.
in the high, last thing before I let you go, when you compete in events and the high jump specifically, do you know like who the best one, like in track, we know, like, you know, who's fast in this kind. Do you know, all right, this person we know, I know she jumps really high. This one, is that readily evident or not so much?
I don't keep track of other people, if I'm being honest. Like, I'll watch global events and I'll be like, hey, I recognize that face. She jumped really high that one time. But otherwise, I try to just focus on myself because focusing on other people, what am I going to do?
Yeah. This was great. I really appreciate you doing this today. Thanks so much for the time. Congratulations and good luck coming up in a couple weeks, okay?
Thank you. It's going to go great.
Thanks for the time. Arienne Birch joining us, NDSU sophomore high jumper, the champion in the Summit League this past weekend. 4 times over now that she's won in both Summit League indoor, outdoor high jump last year, indoor, outdoor this year. That was fantastic. That very rarely do you actually get somebody as honest as she was, and I appreciate that. And one to keep an eye on, folks. You know, we talk all about the great athletes around our area. That's another one that you may not know that you just got introduced to now. And she's got high expectations for herself, and so far she's been able to accomplish everything that she's set out to do. We'll keep an eye on that coming up in a couple weeks' time when the West Regionals get going. I believe they're in Austin, down at the University of Texas, coming up at the end of next week. We're due for a break. We caught up with a few emails to get to and get back on track here on this Tuesday morning. Back on Hot Mic on WDAY Extra right after this.